Hello everyone, Bill Molyneux, Bill's Wargame World. Hey, I gotta say I'm gonna just do a babbling video. I have to get ready for the Hawks Wargaming event this coming Saturday, and we have a lot of projects going on. Some of you that did watch my video on my new home, our retirement home, the sun porch is going to be the wargaming area. The weird looking giant boathouse is going to be just used for storage, and if we have a flood, it's not going to be stuff that really matters in that sense. The tool room, I got to clean that up and store tools in it. Alright, what are we working on? Well, we got the last of the Fort William Henry walls in. So, what we're going to do is, I'm going to go over the styrofoam, Fort William Henry walls, and, the Fort William Henry is huge. It's 54 millimeter. The great Josh Warliff, he 3D printed it. Then I have the styrofoam. So I checked my angles. I'm happy with the angles. So what we're going to do is we are going to glue these down, and then we're going to use liquid nails. Well, so this will be Babble, Horns of the Buffalo, my Anglo-Zulu war game that was released a while back on, well, I had it on Kickstarter, and then I switched to, after the Kickstarter was over, of course, I changed publishers, printers, and I gotta say, Steve of Blue Panther is just really, really nice. Just fantastic. So the Horns of the Buffalo was reviewed today by a YouTube channel called Kilroy Was Here, and Robert Carroll is his name. I've never met him, and I'm very grateful. He gave it a positive review and really stressed how it is a game for the Anglo-Zulu War, but what's neat about it is you can really just start playing it within 15 minutes. So, there's our first wall. Now I'm using liquid nails. The reason is I'm gluing down on styrofoam, and if you are a newbie to wargaming, some glues do not like styrofoam. It will melt it. So my Horns of the Buffalo game with 12 exciting scenarios of the Anglo-Zulu War. Several people helped with that game. Dennis Bishop, a very famous professor, Kansas College in Kansas, state of Kansas. I forgot what city it was. And then we also had Peter Schultz of Schultz Games helping, and unfortunately Dennis passed away before he got to see it being printed. Or his widow does have a copy, and every once in a while I do check in with her. She is very nice, and Dennis Bishop was a fantastic war game designer and he was designed a lot of war games, and I helped him as a play tester and such for many, many years, over 30 years. Well, we're going to move these sections out of the way because you know what we have coming down. All right, here it is, everyone. The 3D the 3D Viking ship. All right. And Josh made me one heck of a lot of oars. So I will have two incredible cool Viking ships here. And I'm very, very fortunate to have such good friends like Josh and Jim Shaw and in the miniature wargaming world. So, what else do we have going on? Oh, by the way, my wife isn't home this weekend. She's, I won't say any more than that. So, I do have a little more free time working in the basement. And so tonight, my project is to finish off my homemade shields that we made for my Raven Feast figures. By the way, I used rocks for one clan, one group, sticks for another, and nothing on another. I still have some Vikings left that haven't been allocated to anything. They're in storage. So my goal here is to get the Viking ship put together. So I see more and more reviews on wargame rules and just, you know, board wargame rules. I do a lot with board games, so that's the board wargaming world reviews can be interesting. The same as reviews for miniatures. And one of the things I'm sorry I might be outspoken on this, but one of the things I feel is a lot of people are reviewing, sorry about that, I hit my camera, reviewing rules, and they're not always happy-go-lucky reviews. And I realize people are spending money. They want to know what the rule book is like, or the whatever it might be. But there also are times that that particular rule set may have an errata in it that the reviewer didn't realize. Something to that effect. But I do think the reviews are good in a way, but in the same sentence, I like to say there is someone, a human, that worked pretty hard most of the time, and I know that for a fact from the things that I have produced, that to write a negative review and have a person's game, rule book, whatever it might be, be basically, or I guess you say, hurt in the industry because it gets a negative review for a particular reason. I have an Antietam game that I didn't play test or do much with it. It was in our $2 game system. But it had one unit that was arriving on letter R1, and it was supposed to be on letter R7 on the game map. So it was a simple mistake that didn't get caught somewhere in the setup sheet. But, got reviewed, of course, and it got reviewed a bit harsh over that, how can that unit show up behind the Confederate lines? It was like a Union unit. Well, it wasn't supposed to. It was a mistake. So, so that was, that's my thing on reviews, and I see more and more people doing reviews. And I know that it's a needed thing, but I'm going to leave it at that. And we're going to look at putting this together. So, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to glue this hull together. However, we have to make sure it doesn't glue to anything else. All right, welcome back. This is a second take on this section because I dropped the microphone and probably it would hurt someone's ears. We are using wax paper. And why are we using wax paper is we are going to glue our hull together, and of course there will be some glue that's going to leak on the bottom to the styrofoam padding I have. So what I need to do is make sure it doesn't glue to that, so I placed wax paper. I'm going to use a super glue and an E6000. So get out our E6000. I'm going to use regular E6000 and not the plastic type. And we will I don't know. I'm looking at this and it looks like it has pinholes in here. What do you think of that, everyone? So, let's grab our snippers. Huh. All right, so I put a peg in there. And by the way, this hull actually fits in a particular way. So, all right, so I'm going to make a peg, not cutting it very big. And see there. Okay, those pins work perfect. Look at that. So we'll make another pin. Josh didn't tell me this, that there are pinholes in here to take this to help hold this together. So we're going to put another pin here. So what's your view on reviews? You know, I gotta say, I recently saw a review where someone said, you know, they like to only buy the certain, I think it was only like Osprey type wargame rules. And I thought that was interesting. And something else I encountered a while back was someone that bought some Sword in the Flame rules. Never heard of them. They got them at the flea market, and they wrote a pretty bad review about them, along with the extra supplements that came in the box. And being that I'm old and into the Sword in the Flame and knew Larry personally, and who the author of them, that I thought that it wasn't the best review in the world. I did speak to the young fella, and he did acknowledge he hadn't even played them, and he did end up taking down his review. So, which was the campaign books were included in his review, which I know, you know, the several Mark Fossiso campaign books, and they were also included in that box. And so there we go. All right, So we're using E6000. It looks like we don't have too much of a seam. We're going to put a little there, a little there, and I got to put a little on. All right, so what's everyone's view on reviews? They're needed to help you not blow $20, $40 on a set of wargaming rules or a board game, and at the same time it might be not that particular person's cup of tea. My person that married Lisa and I, my Donnie Kramer, a wonderful Unitarian minister, he once sent me a note saying that when I was trying out the YouTube stuff and some people weren't overly excited with how bad my videos are at times, he said, not everyone, you can't be everyone's cup of tea. And I thought that was very, very cool in a way, that that you can't always make everyone happy. Now, my Viking ship is ready for brown spray paint as a primer, and I'll also be hitting the Fort William Henry walls. Now, what the heck to do with about 40 shields that Josh sent me? So I'm going to have to look at some pictures of Viking longboats. I have a lot of oar holes, but I'm thinking I'll put an oar and then a shield or shield type of thing. And I'm going to lay out the shields, I guess, and spray paint them with a gray primer along with a zillion oars, and then hit them with brown afterwards. So beautiful weather for spray painting. All right, so we've chit-chatted a lot about our Viking ship, and now let's move on to our figures. Okay, everyone. Oh, by the way, I appreciate all of you that watch my channel. I generated over $200 this month for the American Friends of Lafayette. So when you're watching this crazy channel, and also my other channel's not monetized, but I do have this one monetized, the Bill's History World with Goober the Traveling Bear. So, our Raven Feast Vikings, we have to hit these shields with our paint. I have 3 incredibly cool warbands. One with sticks, and so you remember I did my first run with these old Marks figures, and I was so excited about getting them into battle. Once they got mixed up in melee, I couldn't figure out who was who. So Jim Shaw, I think it was, sent me the wonderful idea of not having anything on their bases as one band, to having rocks on another, and there we go, rocks. And these are the war bands from Little Wars TV's Raven Feast game system. And again, the Little Wars TV guys are awesome, and all the other channels. I have no affiliation with Little Wars TV. I just plug along in my own little world. The fellas there are all very nice. Greg and Tony and Chad, Miles. And yes, I have met them, most of all of them, several times, and been interviewed a few times too. So we are going to paint our Viking shields next. And the plan is to get these guys ready to take these figures, all the Raven Feast stuff, to the Virginia home. And I think small skirmish battles on the card tables or 2 tables in the sunroom will work out fantastic. And we're also taking, I believe, a few board games. So I'm going to take some of this stuff outside and spray paint it, and while I still have weather. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, be kind, be courteous, and I might have more videos throughout the week, as I am sort of a bachelor quite a bit this week. And take advantage of the warm weather that we have in Maryland for spray painting. Thank you again, everyone, and keep watching so I can make more money to donate to historic sites. All right, we have bonus feature, just like a Marvel movie. If you stayed past the credits, you got to see the Viking ship. By the way, the mass is in the other room. All right, that's it. The bonus feature.